Hello, loreheads, and welcome to The League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Iron Maiden, Rell, who was released December 10th, 2020. So, pretty recently. I was going to make an Iron Maiden joke, and then I remembered I didn't know anything about Iron Maiden.
How about that band, eh?
Oh, the Iron Maiden.
Pretty metal.
They played some music.
Rock.
I think it's metal based on the name of the band, but
It is a metal.
It is.
Tracks.
it's true.
It's not. Is that a metal? Ah, yes. Iron Maiden. That metal, you know.
It's on the periodic table of elements. It's right after, it's like iron, then Iron Maiden, and then helium.
That was the daddest bullshit.
Also, I'm lounging today, so you're welcome.
John,
everyone.
forgot we recorded audio somehow, and he's like, should I change out my robe? And I was like, who gives a crap? Like, it's fine. So then I asked him if he wanted me to get a blanket, so I'm also lounging with him.
This is what I wear to work most days.
It is.
Very professional. Very professional. Yeah, extending that professionalism into the podcasting. I like it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wearing my work uniform to the podcast.
Except when you have to do video at work and then you take your robe off. That's how I know you've had a video meeting.
Right.
It's because your robe's not on.
That's true facts.
I wear
very
these like
rare.
busted like white sleeveless ones, and every now and then I have to get on a call, and it's a race to go like, okay, I got to throw in a t-shirt. Real quick. I did it the other day because I had the baby, and my boss didn't care, but it was pretty funny. I was like, oh man, I'm looking really schlub right now.
I don't know what boss would expect you to be working in like business casual in your fucking house.
Right,
but-
absolutely not.
Unless you're in meetings all day, video meetings all day. But
like with clients,
Customer
maybe.
Yeah.
Like not other
Yeah.
coworkers.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Fuck those people.
Yeah.
we really got on a tangent here. So
Yeah,
Rell,
sorry.
no, it's okay. She doesn't have much linked on her universe page. Is her bio, and that's it. She does have a color story that you can find on the universe page, but it's not linked on Rell's page. And she has a release trailer, also not linked.
You gotta Google the name of the story on Universe for it to show up
my
on Universe so
God.
that you can read it on Universe.
Or you could just go to the wiki.
Or go to the wiki.
Yeah, right. Well, you know,
Always the better choice.
she was released a while back. Oh wait, you said 2020, right?
2020. And like Champions released since her, I don't know, she really fell through the cracks here. It's so weird. Like, at least put her color story on there.
Right?
Does
You wrote
say,
it.
I was gonna say, I bet the URL even is rel colors like dash color
Probably.
dash story,
I didn't look,
right?
but probably. Yeah.
I would bet.
But yeah, what does Rell sound like?
Oh, fuck.
I did not look up what she sounded
I
like.
didn't. I have played her, and I feel like she just sounds like a lady.
She does kind of just sound like a lady.
I don't know, John. How about you do
I
impression?
wrote down a
try
quote
to
for you.
do. Oh,
Whichever one you want. There's always two. You get to choose.
well, I'll let you do that second one. It's not like as deep as I think because she's a teenager.
She growls and yells
Yeah.
a lot. She sounds like a just like a lady, but like an angry one.
Okay. Noxians aren't the heroes they think they are. Was that the yelling a lot? Wow,
The
I really
emphasis
blew
was in
out
some
the-
weird places, but I
That was some weird emphasis on some weird syllables.
you got the right. It's the right like sound palette though, right? Like
Thank
you're
you.
gonna do
Oh,
way
I had the
better.
right sound, palette.
That sounds
Yeah, the
very
sound
what a podcast
library.
thing to say.
Oh my god, my sound palette is
It's got
A+.
good sound, good ear feel, right? When you,
Right.
when you hear
I
it.
don't think that had a good ear feel, and I'm gonna know
The
for
aural
sure.
radiance was great.
Thanks.
Okay. She's got iron body, iron will.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Nice.
an angry
Yeah, I
young
can
lady.
kind of hear it now. An angry young lady. That is Rell.
Yeah.
You know I can see you, right? Gross little gerbil man.
Is that about Teemo?
That
No,
was
it's
actually
Cled.
about Cled.
What? But Teemo has a stealth.
Yeah. You know.
I mean, depending on what version of the lore we're talking about, all the Yordles have some sort of stealth.
Okay. Oh, I guess that makes sense. You're right. He's in Noxus. All right, I'll give it to you.
Okay. in on a technicality.
All right, I'll go over her bio. We're recording this kind of late, so I did this days ago, so I straight up don't remember what my notes are, so this will be fun.
This is by Jared Rosen and David Slagle.
Okay.
Which also made me curious if this was one of Jared's first ones or not.
2 people, huh?
Well, I'd be curious. That's an interesting point we should revisit. It is interesting to me that there is a dual credit for the bio, which I think we never see most of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I imagine, like,
curious.
I usually imagine multiple people are coming up with the lore and one person's writing it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rell was not a normal girl.
Oh,
in Noxus.
shit.
Oh, fuck.
She was super duper special because her mom was an heir to a fallen noble house. That's kind of what it sounded like. Really, it made Rell super, super sad, and that made her magical. That's kind of the takeaway I got here. Is that I remember? You're nodding, right? Yeah. She
Yeah.
was
I mean, it
really
worked in
upset.
Matilda. Why not?
Oh my god.
She's
That's
mad
the fucking
Matilda.
plot of
She's pissed off.
Matilda. This is like if Matilda broke bad. I really need some kind of movie poster for Matilda, but it's Rell and she's broken bad, please. And then I said, like, the opposite of Lux. That's kind of the similar too. Lux if she broke bad.
Wait a minute. I'm just putting this together.
Oh,
Matilda's full of Iron Maidens.
Oh, weird. It's fucking spooky.
Right?
what?
That thing that Mrs. Trunchbull locks the kids in is an Iron Maiden.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, not like the full bore one, because she doesn't pierce them with 1,000 little needles, or
But they
spikes.
do have the
they do have-
needles.
Oh yeah, it's been a minute.
They just
since
have
I've
to
seen
stand
Matilda.
still and hope they don't die.
Wow, Matilda's fucked up, man.
Matilda's really fucked up. It was also one of my favorite movies growing up, and the remake made me cry a few times. Anyway, Rell could manipulate metal. Ooh, her parents tried to exploit this, and one day they met a pale lady. Oh, who is it? LeBlanc wants to use Rell to defeat Mordekaiser. I put my first gripe here. Why don't they just say this? They try to be like really like. Do they have a rule that they're not allowed to mention other champions in someone's bio? Because they don't list LeBlanc by name. They don't say Mordekaiser by name. We know what it is. And what if someone doesn't? Then they're just extra fucking confused. Just say it's LeBlanc. And
Yeah.
Mordekaiser, I'm so annoyed. I don't know why this bothered me so much, but it did. Anyway, Rell was sent to a school. Like Matilda.
Like Matilda.
She was very, very good and forced to fight other students by the time she was 8. After the fight, like a magic sigil was grafted into her arm, which amplified her powers. And from that point forward, she never saw any of her dueling opponents again. When Rell was 16, she was kind of tired of this shit and threw her instructors aside and went down a forbidden wing of the academy. This is all so vague and weird that she's just like, I'm getting out of here, and then just went down a different, like, just leave. I don't understand why she went down this forbidden wing instead.
Because it's
got
forbidden.
really
Haven't you ever
lost.
seen Beauty and the Beast?
Here's my second gripe. Establish the forbidden wing. Make Rell interested in it. Give us a reason why she has decided to do this, because it makes absolutely no... This comes out of nowhere. A forbidden wing. Anyway, she finds all of her former dueling partners here. They're described as being nullified, and that's described as emotionless puppets devoid of memories. Have they brought up nullified people at this point in other
I don't think
places?
so.
Because they kept saying it like I was supposed to know what the fuck this
It's
meant.
like capitalized almost, right? Like
It's
Yeah.
capitalized, yeah. And then I went on the wiki and I'm like, is this like a link, the word nullified or something? And it never is. So they're just like, that we're just supposed to know what that is.
Yeah, it's like a way more intense version of what Demacia is doing, basically. Like, it drains the magic, but instead of just like getting rid of it and the people are like kind of, you know, permanently depressed, they're transferring the magic and the people are just shells. Mm-hmm. It's like if you've seen, or if you've read or seen his Dark Materials, it sounded exactly like what happens when someone gets severed from their daemon.
It made me think of that. It made me think of... I feel like David and Jared were playing a lot of BioWare RPGs, because she's a lot of Jack, and she's a lot of the Tranquil from Dragon Age Origins, if you're familiar with that at all.
She is a lot of Jack, and I'm gonna bitch about that later.
I have a whole, in the vein of the games we
shit.
play, I have a Jack or Rell quote game, so we'll do that too.
Oh,
yes!
Oh, that's
I
exciting.
love that. I'm gonna be so bad at it. I'm gonna be disappointed because Mass Effect is one of my favorite game series ever.
It was harder than I thought it would be, but we'll talk.
Oh, it's gonna be really tough. Okay, anyway. She also discovered here that her mother was behind all of this to make Rell the most powerful soldier Noxus have ever seen. Gads! Mommy, no!
But I trusted her mommy because I knew so much about her.
Mm-hmm.
This had a lot of impact on me.
Again. No, okay. Anyway, Rell destroyed the school, freed the students. She's now an enemy of Noxus, fighting against Noxus and the Black Rose while trying to save any children who are being used the way she was. So, let's complain. Because
What? I have only good things.
I'm frustrated because there's so many tropes here that I fucking love. One of my favorite is like an escaped experiment. So Jack is one of my favorites. 11 from Stranger Things. I love that trope. And I don't, I'm annoyed that I don't like this more. But
From
again...
the Furnace. Is that the name of this?
Escape from Furnace.
Escape from Furnace.
Lockdown. Yeah, that's a good one. It's been.
I don't know what you're referencing, but you seem very unsure of its
like
quality.
a kind of older YA series. It is similar, but it wasn't like the vibe I was feeling. But yeah, I love like a weird mother-daughter relationship, like a messed up one. Love that shit. Why don't I like this?
Because they didn't establish any of those
It's
things. They just,
true. I mean,
said that they existed.
It's a bio, right? Like they have so little time to do all of this, and this is too much for a bio. This needs to be something else in order for me to give a shit.
It's also not like
so
we've had
weird.
longer bios than this. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
they didn't need to include all of it, but they could have included more of it.
yeah, I feel a lot of the way that you're feeling, Rebecca. It's like drenched in like, it's very edgy. It's drenched in these tropes. And there are other edgy ones that we've liked. For me, it didn't work. And I think, like you were saying, the deal with the mother is a big problem because it's like there's no. It's always kind of portrayed in my mind the way it reads is that they're very distant anyway. So it's not like it's not like she's like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get all organized in my brain, but it didn't work for me as well. It's really grimdark. It's like dripping with edge. This is like. Man, this is like a really classic kind of way too tragic like D&D character backstory where they come in at level 1 and they also want a bunch of like special equipment and like unique abilities and stuff that they thought up. It made me think of Aphelios a bit, and I actually went back and listened to it a little bit, and I think something you said about Aphelios is that this feels kind of fan fiction-y, and I feel the same way about this a bit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what made me wonder if this was when maybe Jared was transitioning to the narrative team official, because he was just in community with us when I was there. So at some point he transitioned to the narrative team. I'm curious if this was one of his earlier ones, and that's why there's a co-author. It was kind of like a journeyman type
maybe
thing. That might explain it, because, I mean, generally speaking, I mean, I feel like we've been pretty big fans of the shit that Jared's written, and this didn't resonate.
It's not that it's badly written, it's just that they're trying to fit a lot in a really, really short window and trying to make me care. I don't know. I don't know if they thought about it as much as it needed to be thought about. I like your opinion, or your you pointing out that she wasn't really close to her mom anyway, it felt like. Whereas if they had a really tender relationship, that would have been so much more hard hitting or tender as Noxians. Noxians can be very tender.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
You know what is
I don't know.
You know what's a really good thing to compare against would be Cassiopeia, another person who had their life completely fucking changed by the Black Rose, who had this massively strong relationship with her mother. And it's like, I think that would be an interesting thing to do with Rell, is draw her up against Cassiopeia. They're kind of similar and they're kind of weird mirrors of each other. And she can have a completely distant relationship with Rell can have a completely distant relationship with her mother. You can kind of compare and contrast the way it's affected those two. But the fact that it's her mom leading it really does feel like it's supposed to be like this big shocking revelation, and it's supposed to make it even more tragic. But it doesn't. It's like you said, the relationship isn't there. And with Aphelios, I think the thing that saved him, we kind of talked about, was that he's got Elune, and there's that relationship is really well developed and very integral to both of them. So it kind of pulls him back into being a little more like he works, whereas Rell maybe doesn't in that way.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, even from a writing standpoint, and I don't feel like I usually complain about writing because I don't know what the fuck do I know. But I feel like swapping between straight narration, sarcasm, and a quote here, to Rell's parents, this was something to be exploited for Rell's own sake, of course, which seemed like it was coming either from their head or from a sarcastic narrator, and then seemingly from Rell's mind at the end of the story with like, there's nothing in this world that can stop her. Like, is that like for real? Like, there's not? Like, are you telling me the truth, narrator? Because if so, good game. I guess we're done here. Wrap it up.
that one line of like, oh, for Rell's own good, of course, like that really stuck out a bit like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
It's a shame because I like the way it opens where it kind of tells you what's going on now, where there's these wanted posters and there's this big threat in Noxus, and then it kind of pulls you back to tell you what her story is. It's like, I like that, but I do agree, maybe a more consistent like authorial voice,
I guess. Yeah,
for sure.
From a content standpoint, why did they keep these puppets around? What do these puppets fucking do other than serve as smoking guns if they ever get caught?
This whole like band corridor is like just so bad. I'm so sorry. I want to say I don't hate Rell. I think that she's really interesting.
Let's make it clear. I don't hate Rell. Okay?
I don't hate Rell. There's a lot here that I really like. And I find her very interesting. Almost. But this whole corridor was just so bad. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not established. Why are they all here?
Right, and we find
Are they eating them? I don't understand. Why do they keep them alive? Just kill them. You're Noxus.
Exactly. And it even says in her color story afterwards that a lot of these people, like, need to be physically fed. Like, they're not even in a state of mind to feed themselves. They're just keeping all these kids here as a resource drain, which seems very anti-Noxus, and as proof of all the shit they're doing. And then when Rell does escape, they say that there's a hustle to get rid of the nulls everywhere. Like, you can get rid... You're Noxus.
It's
you
called
know
a
how
shallow
to get
grave.
rid of these children.
I
Just
completely
get
agree.
Pled. He'll get rid of them all for you easily.
He's got plots all over. I completely agree. It's a real shame too, because that ends up being one of her big things she's doing now. Is she's going to go get all of the null, they call them. She's going to go save them. But it's like, it makes no sense that they would be around. So that's something I would change. Definitely.
And what is she doing to save them? Is she putting them out of their misery?
Right?
I don't understand what's going on.
It's never established that there's any way to transfer her any magic back to the null. They're just they're just like that.
That would be interesting if she could give up her powers and then all of a sudden she's like, hang on, I'm actually really powerful. and she doesn't want to give up her powers to save these people. That could be an interesting dilemma.
Right? Like, I've got to fight Mordekaiser, but I also want to save these kids.
And she wants to take down the Black Rose just in general, but she's contemplating giving up some of her magic. I like that dilemma. Or her coming to the realization she can't save them, and then having to make a decision from there. Or is she going to kill them then? And what does that look like? Are they consciously there? Can they recognize her? They just don't explain what nullify really means. So
yeah, I'm really liking the ideas that y'all are putting forward. I think putting her in a position where she has to like face more of a conflict that's not so physical, like real world combat conflict, would be a really interesting and fun way to sort of start playing with it. I mean, a big thing I would change is I would swap around a lot of the timeline of how that escape works, because it's weird to me that she's just decides one day, fuck this, I'm done doing this.
Yes,
and then,
too.
As a part of that escape, discovers the big secret. I feel like knowing that secret would be the inciting incident to cause her to want to leave, right? The other thing is that, like,
she also...
go ahead.
I was going to say, she has to know...
Yes. Like...
Because all of her dueling opponents disappear, and we'll talk about it in the short story, but she has a friend that she made, and she knows at some point she's going to duel him and never see him again. Mm-hmm. So is she just thinking they're being sent away, or... She's not that dumb, yes, but maybe she's young and naive. But there's enough... They're having a great time. They
Look
have a
at
lot
the
of
flowers.
toys. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, when she was 8, it's like one thing, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. When she's a very, very young child, but
that like that ties to another kind of thing I had with this. Like, obviously, this needs to be a Black Rose thing because the goal of this whole thing is kind of defeating Mordekaiser, I guess, or for her specifically. But if the Black Rose is kind of positioned as this like really smart, operating in the shadows, thought of every contingency type thing, there's so many dumb mistakes that these fucking schools make. Like the whole draining thing, like, was she gonna drain Rell? I mean, it was her mother in charge. If Rell lost a matchup, would she have drained Rell?
I
Like, the
wondered
other
that.
people didn't have metal bending powers. And if they weren't gonna drain Rell, like, why not? Why are they draining the people that she beat? They clearly don't give a shit about these other kids. They're kind of powering up the metal bender here. Drain
Yeah.
other fucking kids, not the ones that she's seen, because you know that's just gonna raise suspicion.
that's
yeah.
so fair.
I-
God,
I-
why didn't I even think of that? Yeah.
I had that exact
They could
thought
just-
too, right?
Why does she have to fight them? Just suck out their little powers and put them in a sigil, or however it works. Also, why is LeBlanc trusting something this important to other people? Wouldn't she be more heavily involved? And if she were, these dumbass mistakes, I assume, wouldn't be happening.
This is
Would
why
it be
she
more
just,
interesting
You know she's got clones everywhere.
just
Why
use her
doesn't she
clone,
leave a
that's what I was
clone
gonna say.
here?
leave a clone here? Yeah.
Well, it's another question of like, why is Rell's mother the one who is like the one who should be running all this? Because as far as we know, she was just some member of some fallen noble house who was in a
Yeah.
position to be like taken advantage of by LeBlanc, right? Like LeBlanc gives them something they want, they give them Rell. Like, why does her mom also need to now be the headmistress of this very complex organization?
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. So what is she getting out of this deal? She has given up her daughter. Is it for honor and glory? Which I could buy, but she doesn't need to be there for that. She's still not running it. Is Rell's mom LeBlanc? Is that
Fuck
the
it,
twist?
right?
One of
But, like,
LeBlanc's clones.
one of LeBlanc's dumb clones.
One of the dumber clones.
Ones that's been apart for too long and is kind of
So you know how
lost the thread.
Zareth drunkenly made the Cobra thing. This was LeBlanc got fucking shit wrecked one day and made just a dumbass clone who got knocked up and was like, I'm gonna defeat fucking Mordekaiser.
Oh man.
We're gonna do it. I'm gonna make a girl and she's gonna control metal.
fucking metal.
Fucking
Okay,
metal.
LeBlanc, I think you've had enough.
Yes.
Turns to the
off,
other
girl.
LeBlancs, give me your keys.
You're LeDrunk.
You're gonna LeBlanc out tomorrow. No, well.
Hey.
I'm liking the idea that her mom, the mom she found, is just a LeBlanc clone, and her mom was actually like loving and cared for her, and maybe tried to pull the plug on the whole thing, and LeBlanc replaced her, and Rell has to like confront that. Like, I've had all these terrible feelings about her, and now I realize like she did start looking out for me at the end. How do I feel about that? You know, that
Yeah.
could be interesting.
Could it be interesting for Rell to decide that instead of defeating Mordekaiser, she wants to help Mordekaiser?
Sure.
Bolster
out-
his armor with
Kinda.
her own metal.
Or control him, maybe, instead of saying, you know,
living puppet.
yeah, she'll think, well, let me raise this monster. Maybe she realizes she can't take the Black Rose. They're too powerful. As of right now, she's very arrogant. She's 16. It's fine. She can control metal and kill people. I would be arrogant
Yeah.
too.
I don't
I was
know.
arrogant at 16 and I didn't do jack shit. So I get it. But maybe she gets knocked down a peg and she's like, all right, well, let me get this big iron man
Well, see,
that
that
LeBlanc's afraid of.
I kind of like that idea because another thought I had was I would like to see her in a room with Swain where she's really opposed to Noxus because she has this perspective
yeah.
that Noxus knew about everything and allowed it to happen, which I'm going to
Swain
assume
probably doesn't know.
Yeah, from what Riot has told us,
Like-
Swain doesn't know about some Black Rose things, and I assume this is one
Yeah.
of them. And I think
I'm
that
pretty sure Darius isn't up in there being like, oh, I hope Rell's doing all right.
But I think that could be a lot of fun because it reminds me of that like Kiana story with Aya where they are working, they are kind of at cross purposes, but they do have a shared enemy, and they're like they have to kind of maybe ally even though Rell ultimately does want to like fuck up Swain or something like that.
I like
that. Could
that.
be fun.
Yeah.
Right?
So she has it in her head, like, all right, well, when we're done teaming up, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yeah.
And Swain's like, she probably thinks she's gonna kill me. She's an idiot. And then Swain kind of thinking he could take advantage of her because he's much older and wiser than she is. That would be really fun.
It's hard because so much of her character through like the VO, it's not really expressed in the lore. The VO is a lot like, you know, I've been betrayed and I don't trust anyone and I don't let anyone close to me, you know, so it's really hard for me to imagine a time when she would be willing to deal with Swain, which is why I think you should team her up with some people like Riven. You get Alistar in the mix. Always gunning for Alistar. Kled,
of course,
because I think you could convince Kled to fight against Swain. Right, like things like that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Kled would be interesting.
That'd be good. Yeah. Like if you could either do a sweet Avengers type team up like that to fight against Swain, or establish a type of like fucking Palpatine Anakin relationship between Swain and her, where she doesn't need to trust him, but he has some sort of power that he's willing to give her.
Yeah,
I do really like that.
So is what we're saying that there's a lot of potential with Rell.
There is so much potential, but they really wrote so hard in just wanting her to be a loner, and I think there's too many of those types of champions, and the whole like I've been betrayed, I don't trust anybody is so cliched, and I think it's really, really hard to do that in a way that's engaging. Mm-hmm. Like, and they don't have time here. They didn't have the time to do that with Rell. So again, give her a connection, which is a complaint I have with a lot of champions, that I will feel more strongly about them if they have some connection. We'll get to the short story in a minute. I assume we almost get that in her short story, that she kind of made a friend at school. I guess I'm just going to give away the plot of the short story. She kind of made a friend at school, and then he was nullified, and then she found him, and he was already dead because somebody had stopped feeding him baby food, I guess. Or what did they fucking do? We're both at that point where we're giving our babies mashed carrots and shit. So was that what they do? Oh my god, he took the spoon by himself. They swipe it in the mouth.
Oh, yep, coming back out. Oh, so yeah.
How did you get carrots on your forehead?
How did that get there? Yeah.
How did that get there?
I agree about the connection thing, because I think the idea of it, to me, it doesn't read as some like, okay, I know that she has been led astray and lied to a lot, but because there's no like significant connection established at all in the bio, I don't know who she feels betrayed by, because like we said, doesn't seem to have a strong relationship with her mother. So that's another thing I would change, is that I would make that escape a group effort between her and some students, and then if they discover that whole drainage situation, alliances shift mid escape, right?
Mm-hmm. Suddenly they think that she's in on it. She must have known, and honestly, she must have known.
Or her mom, that's another thing that could be...
true, her mom being involved. They're like, hey, well, fucking, you're the one who's getting all these powers. You're getting stronger. Your mom's behind it all. Do the other kids at this school think that they're... learning anything?
They exclusively recruit kids who think they're the protagonist.
Oh my god, are they learning something? I'm so
They just have like these like 8-hour like homeroom periods where it's like, just work on whatever, just doodle. Jimmy, come here.
Now I'm annoyed again. Okay, so because I think they're trying to establish like these schools that LeBlanc has set up, and they're doing a bad job about it. Because this one seems to be just about funneling magical children into Rell. So what if these magical children would also be really useful? I don't understand.
And we all saw what happened at that other school for magical children.
Annie burned down
fucking burned to the
one
ground.
of them, and that also wasn't established. But maybe that's the point of the duels, is like, okay, if we're all stronger than these magical children, then obviously they're not worthy enough. But she also has the strength of like 18 magical children at some point. So what do you fucking expect?
Right.
LeBlanc, or whoever came up with this shitty idea, Rell's mom.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. She's still the strongest. My little girl.
Fucking nepotism. That's all this is. It's fucking like, helicopter mom.
God damn. See, that would be a fun way to... That would be an angle to take, right? With that relationship is like, yeah, that helicopter... Like, it's something you would do with it to give it a little more like texture, right? This is like when we were playing Valorant and we would die and we would lose all our guns and everyone else would keep their guns.
Right?
We would just get shit stomped
Man,
more.
how are we still losing?
And I gotta
Weird.
tell you, it took me like 30 rounds of losses before I even realized that was happening.
Because that's when we got our
Because
first
I
win.
never won. That's gonna be some bonus Patreon content. If you want to hear me get progressively drunker and angrier than I've been in a very long time,
It's like a nice linear
that's gonna be up there.
like distribution of like as the alcohol enters, the anger levels just go up and up. I love it. But
Yeah, I was pretty peeved.
yeah.
Fuck Valorant.
Yeah.
Let's just get it out there.
Last thing I have to say about the bio.
Sure.
Yeah.
It said there's a quote here that said that when there was the big escape, it left the Rose scrambling to recover the null and erase any trace of what their organization had done, which kind of implies that if evidence of what their organization had done existed, it might be a problem for them. And it sure seems like Rell would want to maybe take one of these null with her at some point as some sort of evidence, but it's
She might not know. I can't imagine LeBlanc scrambling to cover anything. Have we established that the Black Rose is bigger than LeBlanc?
Yeah,
Oh,
they've
yeah,
got a bunch
yeah.
of people. They all think
Okay.
that they're the
That they're really important?
Yeah.
And LeBlanc's like, no. Okay.
but like
Interesting. Okay.
but I feel like it's kind of implied in the short story that Rell even knows that this is happening. Like I think it said that they knew that they were trying to smuggle null over the borders to like hide the fact that they existed. Like
Why are they just killing them? I don't know. I'm
It's-
so confused. Can someone please explain that to me? Is Necrit around? Necrit, do you know? Do you know why Noxus just wasn't killing
cut.
the nullifier? They're literally empty shells they have to spoon feed. And you're telling me Noxus is like, oh, we gotta keep them around. We can't kill them. That's murder.
but we do have to hide them because
Right.
no one can know
Hide
they
them.
exist.
Not even Noxus, like the Black Rose, the most mercenary of all. Yeah.
You're right. I'm so mad. What is this? What is this? It makes no sense. I'm so annoyed. The black. They're not going to get in trouble. They don't have DNA evidence here, guys. You'll get away with it. It's fine.
Yeah, right. It's like just let them loose into the woods.
Or that. Just let him out into the.
Like-
Annie will probably find him and burn him for funsies.
Yeah, like imagine worst case scenario, some Noxian warband comes across this weirdo kid who can't feed themselves. What, they're gonna be like, we gotta go tell Swain about this. This is the utmost like
Right? Swain's going to
probably-
be like, why are you fucking. They're not even going to get to see Swain. They won't even get to Swain.
yeah.
One of his birds will be like, you're not important enough.
Who's this weird kid? Get him out of here. Get that take his bib off. I mean, I think the thing too is just like it's such a simple thing to change, right? Where it's like instead of them being null that they're getting out, it's like, oh, the rest of the kids they took whichever ones they could, and now they're trying to squirrel them away to other hidden spots. So she's trying to go out and save
Sure.
them before
Yes.
they go to ground. Easy peasy, right?
Anyway, the short story.
I mean, you kind
The
of
second
summarized
grave.
it, frankly. Yeah,
I did,
By
yeah.
Jared Rosen. It's like you said. She's on the track of Gabriel. What's his name? The
Yeah.
Knoll boy.
Not to be confused with the Void,
I don't get it.
the Null and Void.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were
Oh, I
talking
thought you
about
were
Gabriel.
talking about Gabriel. That made no sense.
I was
at all.
waiting for something to connect the tissue.
I know. I was like, is this like a Jesus God thing? I don't know. I know there's a Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah, I heard of hymns.
Which I feel like you
I've
know
heard of
beca-
him because it's supernatural.
Supernatural.
No, hang on. Constantine. Give me some credit.
Okay.
Okay.
Order of
Not
operations.
not the
here.
comics, the Keanu Reeves one. That's the only one. It's a fucking great movie.
I've only seen it once. I would rewatch it.
It's so good. I think I have it on DVD.
Oh,
I'll bring
fuck.
it over next weekend. We'll watch Constantine.
Shit.
Poppy's got to see. She's 6 months already, and she hasn't seen Constantine. I'm
What's
doing
she been
something
doing
wrong.
with her
She's
life?
behind-
Get
behind
your
on
shit together, Poppy.
The developmental milestone, 6 months, able to watch Constantine and enjoy it.
it's on her file after the pediatrician. Okay.
She's chasing after Gabriel. She runs into a warband. She smushes them. And one of them is one of her old instructors, who tells her where Gabriel is, and she goes, and he is, like you said, he has died from malnutrition. So she makes a little grave for him, and moves on. And
Yeah.
that's it.
We get to see, a bit of what she looks like in game. This is one of those action pieces that really utilizes, like their in-game abilities, which is fun. I do like the look of Rell a lot, and the idea of like the metal horse and that turns into armor. I think it's very cool. So it's a shame her lore sucks so hard.
Yeah, I liked this as an action piece a lot because it has some lines around like I don't know, she's using her metal building stuff, right? And it's like, as the soldier's eyes widened in horror, the last thing that went through his mind was his helmet. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Where she like she like bats someone away, and it's like a lump of metal and flesh just like hits like in the distance, almost like a cartoon, just like bing, just into the sky. That all is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I wrote a few quotes down from this one.
Okay.
Sure.
Rell thought about the null often. She didn't want to, of course, but the thoughts were intrusive, which I thought was ironic since the null can't think of anything at all.
I think it's ironic because she didn't think of them when she was escaping.
Or like she didn't think of them the entire time she was at school. She's like, I wonder where they're all going.
I want to go visit that
get
farm
ice cream,
someday.
maybe?
Man, weird that I fought the fire guy and now I have fire powers. How'd that happen?
Bananas. No, she doesn't get that power.
It's just a level up. It's just like she just powers up. Yeah.
Well, that just reinforces the fact that they would never drain her. She's the only one with metal powers then. They don't get to trade that.
Yeah.
This time, she was far on the outskirts of Noxian territory, following whispers of another null child being secreted over the border, which, for the record, secreted is spelled the same way as secreted. And when I read it through the first time, I was like, a null child being secreted over... I don't want to think about children being secreted anywhere. And I was like, oh, wait.
Mark did an actual face palm there.
All right. Okay.
One thing I liked about this story, actually, I think this is the first story we get which with a view... We're getting a view of Noxus from a Noxian who hates Noxus.
Mm.
So, like, the descriptions Rell is giving of the areas are, like, very different. So she talks about, like, fields that are useless and left barren because all the food had to go towards, like, fueling useless wars everywhere. And mines that are totally stripped of ore. They're just also barren because they had to be used to make weapons for all these useless fucking wars. And, like, the way she's telling it, too, like, it tells of a region that, like, almost needs to, it's self-consuming because it needs to expand at all times because it doesn't have any resources, but the reason it doesn't have any resources is because it's constantly fighting to expand. It's the fucking Ouroboros eating its own tail. Like,
which is very accurate to how empires kind of work. Like, they need to keep conquering, right? I like, again, I'm liking the potential of that. I like that too because we get some of like Rell's a little bit of like voice where she's just like this stupid ugly country full of stupid ugly people. There's a little bit of like the character speaking there, I guess.
You are 16, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. Plus, there's not a lot aside from maybe that one Darius story a while back where we see kind of like a little, just like walking around Noxus, just like what's the countryside like? Apparently, it's really fucking shitty. At least parts of it are, which is kind of neat to see. So,
my only gripe with this kind of action piece was there was also a line that said a second fighter attempted to impale Rell's mount, but her spear snapped between its steaming plates. And like, y'all, this mount is clearly metal.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not like, I know it's shaped like a horse. It doesn't look like a horse. It's metal. Why are you trying to impale it as if that will do anything?
They don't have, like, good vision coverage. At Noxus, she thought it was a real horse.
A nearsighted soldier, like, I think that's a horse.
I think it's a horse. I'm going to kill it. Imagine. Scary.
Yeah. Frankly, in this and even the bio, her abilities she comes off very strong. Way stronger than she comes off in-game. Like, they describe at one point the lance being heavier than a mountain, and how she could she can just superheat metal and it just like structurally collapses, and she can rip like whole swaths of like veins of ore out of it. It's like really high level shit. And then you see her in game and she's just doing her support.
She just dives into a team and dies.
Thank you.
Well, at least that's what I've seen her do when I play her.
Yeah. I like her look too. I do wish that when she was armored up, she was more like a full on like knight. Because they even in this short story describe her as a dark knight at one point, And I think
cover everything, right?
Yeah.
Make her kind of look more like Mordekaiser. That'd be kind of fun.
I thought that could be kind of fun. And then you just have these, and you know what else I like about that is it's kind of playing into this whole she doesn't let people in, right? So for the most part, she's pretty armored up. And then in these brief moments, these windows, you see the Rell underneath. Because the other thing is that in game, I don't see it, or in her splash even, I don't see a single sigil. And I get that she would cover that up.
Me neither. I was so confused. I was like, where are these sigils? Because apparently there were a lot of them by the time she left.
A lot of belly sigils, you know.
They're all on her ass.
Right.
They're really small.
Like, I imagine it makes sense that she would cover them up. She doesn't like them. But I think...
But she's wearing a sleeveless shirt. I'm pretty sure.
Exactly, right. It's like, it would make more sense, or be more interesting to me if, like, in those brief moments where you saw the person inside the armor, you saw her just like completely sigiled out, and it'd be like, whoa, there's a story there. Kind of like how when you see Jack and she's completely tatted out, and it's like, whoa, there's a story there.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I want to see some concept art on this. I wonder if that was like part of the initial concept, and they're like, it reads to Rise. And they just ditched it, and they're like, we'll put it in the story. People will figure it out.
You could have done it differently.
Yeah, that's a shame. I didn't even think about the Rise connection.
Because, I mean, like, a very different... Like, they'd probably be gold sigils, and he's very all blue and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would look different.
I would think so.
There's a way to do it, for sure. Now...
I'm going to look up
go ahead.
now.
No. You go ahead, my friend.
Oh, I was going to say, if we were done with that one, I was also going to mention that she shows up in a Samira story.
Oh, that Samira one.
Kind of.
Yeah, we can do that real quick.
So this one is Daredevil Impulse by Michael Luo, where basically Samira gets sent to capture Rell and kill anyone else she encounters. She doesn't actually know she's being sent to capture Rell specifically. I don't think she knows who the fuck Rell is. She's just been told to capture a weapon. Someone very dangerous who threatens Noxus. So she does the killing part great. But she basically only finds the aftermath of Rell. Rell's come and gone. Later, when catching up with her captain, she kind of, they have a back and forth. She leaves, and then a nearby tattoo artist goes to the captain, drops her disguise. Bam, it was LeBlanc the whole time. And she's like, basically, whatever Samira needs, you need to give it to her because the Empire needs her. And it made me really curious, like, why the Empire needs Samira specifically for this. Someone who notably relies on metal in her weapons in order to fight. I don't know why she's the one specifically the Empire needs, but LeBlanc seems very convinced that no one can do it but Samira.
Yeah. It had me wondering too. It makes me curious because if she had said that, if LeBlanc had said that about Rell, that would have made sense to me. But Samira specifically, right? It's like, why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Guess we'll find out.
It's
I suppose.
I don't know. This to me like reeks of Professor X sending out Wolverine to fight Magneto. It's like, he's the only one who can do it.
Yeah.
Did they say LeBlanc by name, or they were just like a
they
pale
did
lady?
say
what?
LeBlanc by
did they?
name.
I couldn't
Legally are
remember.
allowed to do that, but they just didn't for Rell's story for some reason.
I do agree with you, by the way. That is an annoying thing in the bio. Because it's like, why even bother, right?
Yeah, it's like when they're trying to pretend Jinx isn't Vi's sister. We know.
Yeah.
There's a whole show about it now.
Cat's out of the bag, I guess.
Cat's out of the bag, Riot.
You know,
You tried to be sneaky.
that fucking Riot. I like the Samira thing too, because that would help pull her. I think she's down in Shurima, right? That's where she's operating, or is she back up in Noxus at this point? I don't really know. I guess we'll find out. But
As of, at least as of the Sentinel, she was back in Noxus.
I guess that's true. I'll be curious. I feel like it could be a good thing that would help pull Rell down into Shurima and then put her in contact with Cassiopeia, because that's what I want to do with Rell. So maybe we'll do that. Do y'all want to guess quotes real quick? How y'all feel about that? Or did you have more to say about the short story?
Oh,
now,
no,
John,
that's
get
all
away
I
from
had.
your quotes. John's written down a lot of quotes that are
Okay.
Rell's.
Well, maybe-
Although you'll probably
I
remember
don't
one at
think
this
any
point.
of these would
Be Jack.
I wrote down mostly quotes with Rell hitting on other women and men.
Love it. Okay, great.
She's got a lot of thirst quotes.
Oh, she's young. Hormones are flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, Jack or Rell? Let's get it going. All right, first one.
I'm excited.
Don't get comfortable. I work alone.
I'm going to say Jack.
I'm gonna say Jack too.
And that's Rell.
Fuck!
Strong start. All right, don't worry.
Hard. This is gonna be so
Here's
hard.
another one. Okay. Sometimes you got to work to give people what they deserve.
You kind of said that like Rell. So now
Oh, sorry. I'm just throwing this little spin
That's
on
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Jack.
Sometimes I'll say Rell to be different.
Is Jack.
Damn it.
Yeah. Don't ever be different. All right. We got another one. Everyone who's ever stood in my way is dead or broken.
I'm gonna say Jack.
I'm going to go Rell on that one.
That's Rell. John killing it so
I
far.
suck at this game. Hell yeah, honey. It's
All right.
okay.
Anyone who's screwed with me pays.
Anyone who what?
Screwed with me.
Oh,
pays.
screwed with... Oh,
That
God.
gotta
What a
be
potty
Jack,
mouth.
right?
I'm going to go Jack.
Is Jack, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Lonely and alive works just fine, thanks.
Jack.
Lonely and alive.
Just go with your gut, honey. Don't think
Yeah.
about it. Trust me, I
Snap-
have a lot of
snap
points
decision.
in this.
I'm going to go Jack then.
Is Jack. Y'all are picking up on it, I
Up
think.
top.
And then
Not
last
always.
one. Friends just get in the way.
I'll say Rell, but I feel like they both probably said that at some point.
And how would she know? She's only had one, and he didn't get in the way of anything.
So, John, are you
But
also...
we'll go Rell anyway.
Is
Fuck
Rell. Yeah. Okay. Y'all sussed it out at the end there. That's a strong showing at the end. Well done.
it. I love it. Thank you.
I want to play Mass Effect 2 now.
Yeah. Just looking
Love
this
Jack.
stuff up. It's like, man. Yeah. But yeah. So there's a lot of similarities there, I found. Well, it was a little too on the nose for me. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they didn't intend it, but
Classic.
it's just like they're really similar.
Yeah.
And I found, if we're going to compare them, I like Jack's a lot more, especially with, I guess, Mass Effect 2 spoilers a little. When they go and revisit the Academy, which is something I'd like them to do with Rell, where we see that Jack's memory is not exactly one-to-one to what actually
yeah.
happened. And it's, there's a little bit more introspection going on with what happened to her. So...
That makes sense because it's such a traumatic thing to
Yeah.
go through that you wouldn't necessarily remember it accurately, especially if you're young when you're going through it
Yeah.
and some time's passed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you see that in the new season of Stranger Things, too. Like
Yeah.
that kind of splintered memory of what happened there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Well, some happier quotes. Here's Rell thirsting after various people in Rune Terror. So your name's Echo? That's cool. Cool.
You're really delivering
Yeah.
on it. I like it.
Yeah.
This one is to Leona. All right, Rell, be cool. It's just a tall, super strong armored lady. You're cute, Seraphine. Well, bye.
We need more of this Rell. This like just a teenager Rell.
Right.
You know?
She's so angry all the
Just a
time, though.
She's just so mad.
And this one is to fellow Noxian, Set.
Ooh.
More like boss of having his shirt off. Oh, I think he heard that. And then after she kills them, these four people. Just when I thought I knew him, he went back in time. I hope this won't hurt my chances. Leona? We would not be good together, Sarah.
I don't know. Rell and Seraphine, that'd be the real fun, grumpy, fun, dynamic one, you know, right?
God, she would teach her how to play metal. And then finally, does this mean I'm your boss now? I gotta walk away. This is too much.
Interesting. All right, so Rell needs a date.
Rell needs a date, but friends are rather no friends than alive, or friends only get in the way.
something
Friends
or
are
other.
rather no friends than alive.
Nailed it.
You heard
John,
it here first.
2023.
That's the t-shirt slogan.
Shit.
Now, Rell, like you mentioned, also has the champion trailer called
yeah.
Rell the Iron Maiden Champion Trailer is the name of that cinematic.
Somehow.
Which is actually pretty neat. It honestly, what this trailer gave me the vibes of is the final scene of Equilibrium. When like the Resistance is storming the Citadel along to some wailing metal music. That's the fucking vibes this gave me. She's slowly running towards Noxus, ready to storm it, and then she's forming her horse around her, and then the wailing metal starts playing.
That's her theme. Her theme's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
I was trying to remember how
it had Equilibrium vibes for me.
trying to remember how Equilibrium ends. I was gonna say, wait, you mean like with Tay Diggs getting his face cut off, or like?
I mean, that's another cool
Wow.
moment.
Equilibrium
a different
spoilers.
vibe, but another cool moment.
Yeah, I think it's a real shame that they have that guy hit her right in the shoulder, though. That's kind of a little rough spot for me on this one. You know what I mean?
Oh, with the axe?
The axe, yeah. Like, because it feels like, she doesn't do anything. She just kind of stands there, and he just kind of whiffs the hit. I guess maybe he thought he could pierce the armor. But,
Oh, I kind of got the feeling... I have to go back and watch it now. My read on it was that where he was striking wasn't necessarily armored, but she just stopped his axe.
I think
because she controls metal.
It does get in her armor because she pulls it out, but you could still play with it. Like, yeah, she pushed the axe like to a certain side, or maybe the armor forms up where it's going to hit anyway. Like, it seems like there's a lot you could do with it, but it's not the most. It feels a little.
It didn't read super. The fact that we're even having this conversation means that whatever they were trying to do didn't read super well.
Yeah. So I don't want to complain too much because I like the concept of her making a fucking horse and riding it out of her armor. That is just fucking cool.
It is
Yes.
really cool.
I wish they
I
got more play
remember
in the
when-
stories.
I was when I was randomly brainstorming parody things. I forget who I was trying to think of a parody for. It may have been Oriana even. But I remember thinking the God, what is the name of the song? I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride.
Well, now you got your new Rell parody.
I know. I was like, oh, this song could work. And then I immediately was like, no, that song has a different person it'll work way better for.
Smart.
Probably a little too on the nose, but
No, it'd be good.
No, it's fine. Fuck it. Do
And
it
maybe
up.
you can talk about how they want the null.
and she is. I mean, she's literally
Just alive.
she's literally wanted too.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
That song was written about
gonna
Rell
say-
and not vice versa.
They saw into the future. John, we made each other watch a lot of movies over the years. And when I think of the movies that you made me watch that I think I like the least, like the two that come to mind are Equilibrium and Serendipity. I've just been thinking about that since we're talking about Equilibrium.
It's like it's not your
Not my thing.
it's not your type of movie because like
No.
Which Serendipity
There was a
or Equilibrium?
there was a both of them.
yeah.
Well, I like a rom-com, but Serendipity was like painful to watch.
Your thing is like I really like kung fu movies and like I like martial arts in my movies, and like I don't need to.
Care about anyone?
No, I don't need to feel like the combat is actually happening. Like obviously,
No, I don't
most
care about that.
you have said several times that you're like, oh, I hate watching. It's like they're dancing. I don't want to watch them dancing. It doesn't feel real. It's like it's choreographed. You've said that several
In that voice specifically.
That's
Yeah.
what I sound like. That's Sean's
yeah.
spot-on impression of me.
But
I
I
also don't
fucking
like
love
when,
that.
I don't like
as
when
a fight choreography is like I fucking love that.
I can like some of it, but there's also they treat the ladies horribly, and there's like no women in it. That was really my
in
problem
Equilibrium?
with it. Yeah, and then that Western film you made me watch with Val Kilmer, that's up there too. I hate that movie.
Tombstone?
Tombstone. Fuck.
Tombstone?
Anyway.
You don't like Tombstone? Oh, man. Well,
No.
Right? Well, you're seeing her taste in
I guess
movies.
we'll-
Doesn't like Equilibrium.
Right.
Doesn't like Tombstone.
one of the better
But you're my
Matrix
Huckleberry.
knockoffs. Gosh, yeah.
So am I your wife that got addicted to painkillers so you hate me and wait for me to die and then marry a younger woman?
No, you're
that
my Huckleberry.
Yeah,
I
Huckleberry.
don't remember who the characters' names are.
It's Val Kilmer.
Oh, okay. Love him in Batman Forever, but that's my taste in movies, by the way. Actually, if you ever want to know my taste in movies, my favorite Batman movie is Batman Forever.
It's a choice, right? I don't hate it.
It's certainly a choice.
It's entertaining
I
as
know it's a
shit.
choice. That exactly, and it's one of the few that is. That's so mean. No, Batman's fine. Anyway, the AUs, I guess.
AUs. Rell doesn't have a ton of skins. She's just part of 2 AUs. First one is Battle Queens. Once fractured by endless warfare, the collective queendoms of Elysia have realized the true nature of their world, that the magic holding their fantastical plane together is maintained only through conflict. They have thus allied through the unifying conflict of the Grand Coronation, though some alliances are beginning to show cracks. Which seems kind of like a world that Rell's specifically suited for. This is Battle Queen Rell. A young woman from the magic-starved Queendom of Calamity volunteered for the coronation by a shadowy cabal of aristocrats after a series of magical experiments. Having now won the crown and the power of her crest, Rell has discovered her powers were stolen from the people of her country, and she has vowed revenge on her puppeteers.
This is kind of like
So, it sounds familiar, but I don't know why.
it's almost like Full Metal Alchemist Rell. I don't know. That's kind of what makes me think of a little.
Oh man.
That is pretty funny.
Now, this one, it has a short story called Battle Queen Crests by Kat Manning and Jared Rosen. This story picks up basically right after Rell is crowned, and the first thing she does with her power is just destroy the vizier who crowned her, and all the shady aristocrats, just fucking murders them outright. So it's kind of like, mission accomplished.
And she's done.
That's the end of that chat.
Now
Don't
she's
need to
going.
check in with Rell anymore.
What are you doing next, Rell? I'm going to Disney World. This is a long
They see
commercial.
metal Mickey ear
Jesus
on her armor.
Oh, shit.
I love it. All right.
All right.
Now, she's also in Star Guardian. Had to scroll down a bit because it's a whole page of notes,
Even though she's barely in it.
even though she's barely in it. In a vast and dark universe, young warriors are chosen by fate to protect the light of the stars. They're destined to burn bright, but collapse as furiously as they shine. And this is separated into seasons now, so she's part of Season 4. Ancient enemies appear in Valorant City, scarred by Zoe's invasion, now defended by a new generation of Star Guardians. As darkness gathers in the skies above, Kaisa and Akali prepare their untested squad for a fight with forces beyond their comprehension, and the true threat that awaits beyond.
Damn.
Yeah. This one's Star Guardian Rell. The scion of a well-connected political family, every aspect of Rell's life was ruthlessly picked apart by her parents, leaving her alienated and unable to make friends. Her chaotic rebellion against them and the school they oversaw succeeded in winning her independence, along with an unjust reputation as a troublemaker and a one-way ticket to Valorant City High. To protect her lonely heart, she's learned to push everyone away, yet beneath her unbreakable shell dwells a brilliant, loyal Star Guardian whose only wish is to turn back the dark. And her magical medium in this AU is named Sebastian. As wild as the girl that tamed him, Sebastian rides into the fray at Rell's side, a fun-sized representation of her rule-breaking attitude. If the fight calls for it, Sebastian transforms into a steed capable of carrying Rell on its back. Sometimes Rell catches it trying to fit in spaces much too small for its battle form. It will always be a miniature horse at heart.
Like a cat trying to sit inside a box that's just like too small for it.
Now, it's also worth noting she has an old bio listed here that's slightly different. And I don't know at what point they rewrote the Star Guardian specific bio, but her old bio on this says that she hailed from a sister city along with Quinn, and she's thriving in Valorant City, much to the chagrin of her homeroom instructors. Known for vandalizing school property and beating bullies to a pulp in the halls, she's not easy to get along with and prefers to work alone, especially when riding her mighty steed Sebastian. Yet rumors swirl of an unapologetic manga fan with distinctive hair and a violent temper, though nobody's brave enough to ask about a possible connection.
Like between the hair.
Is this like Hannah Montana? Like she puts a wig on and
Yeah.
I know who she is.
And now but she does manga. She reads manga instead of sings.
She puts her purple wig on and she's in manga mode.
Hannah Mongatana.
I'm going full.
Hannah. Full manga alchemist.
Damn. I like that bio better. That means a little more like.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that's more of the characterization we get in the visual novel.
Weird.
Way more of that.
It. Huh. I like that Sebastian stuck around. They're like, that's the name for the horse.
If there's a tiny horse, it's named Sebastian. We can put a Lil there, right? That's Lil Sebastian.
Oh my god! I didn't even think of that. That's perfect. I love that. It's got to be right. Like there's no way it's not. Oh, little Sebastian.
Now she shows up in the cinematic Shadow of a Doubt right at the beginning in some pictures Akali's looking at, and then that's it. The rest of the cinematic's just Akali and Akali's shadow.
Sure.
And then she shows up in the visual novel.
Kali's shadow is more important than her.
I know. She gets a lot of screen time in that cinematic.
Damn. That's rough right there.
But yeah, she's in the visual novel Another Sky. So Quinn and Rell show up from another school and join Kaisa's team of Star Guardians. At one point, I'm just kind of skipping around to just the parts that have Rell in it, because this story, it's fucking long. Yeah. At one point, Zoe's pondering destroying the city again. Before being interrupted by Rell. So Rell kind of talks with Zoe, seemingly unaware that she is the Twilight Star at all. They just kind of have a heart-to-heart. Then as they continue their conversation, Zoe begins to calm down after, losing her best friend, and eventually leaves, thanking Rell and promising to kill her last when she returns. And if you do kind of the Kaisa interactions with Rell, you find she's very protective but hot-headed, which is cool when she's standing up to bullies in the stories, but then also she gets kicked out of a park once for standing up to a deer that spooked a kid into dropping his ice cream. She just goes off on it.
That's kind of cute.
She's also a closet manga nerd, but she denies it for a while, preferring to play Valorant with Echo instead.
Why?
But Kaisa eventually finds out that Rell's parents hate that part of her, and they got rid of her entire manga collection entirely. Aww. So what she has now, she's kind of rebuilt from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like way more
tragic. That's the
tragic.
first thing that made me really feel like... What, your mom murdered a bunch of kids to make you more powerful? She destroyed your manga collection? Oh, baby. Come here. I'll be your mom.
Luckily, over time, Rell opens up to the team, and then Kaisa mentions it must be nice to be able to be your authentic self. And
she takes her wig off.
She agrees. She agrees, but then she's confused why her parents can't love her like that.
Oh.
And Kaisa says that parents can be confusing, but until they come around, they'll support her in any way she needs. And given that she's canonically bi, this kind of seems like a pretty clear metaphor for the non-acceptance of the parents.
But I need you to do your first AU song parody and do Parents Just Don't Understand.
Oh. Yes. Hell fucking yeah.
Really throw it back.
Hell yeah. Rell yeah.
Why doesn't she say that?
Right? Not even once? Come on,
God,
Rell.
She should.
Is that Jack or Rell saying that quote?
I thought you were cool.
Go to Rell.
The possibilities
Just
are
all
endless.
the whole wordplay.
Go to RE double hockey sticks.
I'm not allowed to say it.
I got a handful of fun facts.
Fun hacks. Let's go. Life hacks.
Ever since
Life hacks.
Some real life hacks over here.
Step 1, don't be null.
Whatever that means.
Rell is voiced by Leia DeLeon Hayes.
Nice.
And the goal for Rell was to create a darker themed female tank support.
Okay. I
They
mean, I
had-
think Leona's pretty dark.
I feel like she wasn't at the time.
I guess that's fair.
2020?
Or just like, or maybe she's too, maybe like, they were like, you know.
She's related to the sun.
Dark theme, but she's sun related,
Yeah,
so it cancels
doesn't
out.
yeah. I feel like that was it reads very much like that was the thing they wanted, and then they worked backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She also originally had a voiceover interaction with Talia, but this was scrapped because they thought there'd be low activation frequency typically in a game between her and a mid laner.
Do you know what?
Although she does have interactions with other mid laners, so
Do you know what it was supposed to be? Like, is there?
I
Supposed
don't know. That was
Okay.
just kind of something that a writer said, like, oh, they had an interaction with Talia. But,
Oh, okay, sure.
yeah, maybe something about controlling rocks, and she controlled metal.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe. Sure.
Yeah.
Send her to Shurima. Let's get that quote. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Rell was actually first mentioned in the Samira story. That was before she was actually released.
That's kind of cool.
It's kind of like a little teaser for her. Rell's 16 years old. Her height is 5 feet and 7 inches.
Why do we know this?
Because there was a specific there's this one rioter who people consistently ask them, like, what's this character's height? What's this character's height? So he's just got a bunch of Twitter posts specifying character height.
Okay. She's taller than me.
She's got tall hair too. I wonder if that counts the hair.
That's a good question.
Rell's implied by her voice line and multiple writers to be bisexual. Rell's parents come from very different parts of Runeterra, so she herself is biracial as well. And then Rell shapes her mount as a horse instead of a basilisk as a form of rebellion against Noxus's military systems.
That
Okay.
means nothing to me.
Sure.
Because I guess a lot of them probably ride basilisks instead. They kind of remind me of the Fire Nation. You know how they're like always riding those fucking giant lizards and shit.
Oh, okay.
They do. But
Okay, sure.
sure.
I haven't seen this ever shown in game, I feel like.
I just
But-
see Darius
I
riding
mean,
one of those.
There's not a lot.
Be fucking badass. We need why don't we have a basilisk rider? We've got Cled, but like, that ain't no basilisk.
It's
Wow,
close
it's rude
enough.
as hell. That's like the Yordle basilisk, you know?
Also, her horse does not have a name.
Aw. Sebastian.
Big Sebastian.
Big Sebastian. Iron Sebastian.
Her armor is partly extracted from the ground, partly from other people's gear. So it sometimes has steel, pig iron, and various other alloys, depending on what's available. Rell's power is largely not electromagnetic based. So at the moment, it's unlikely that she's capable of pulling metal from inside other people's bodies.
Okay.
Is this just so that she doesn't do the Magneto, like pull all the iron?
Yes,
Okay.
that's my assumption, is specifically to clarify that she cannot do the Magneto.
She's not Magneto, guys. Stop calling her that. Actually, Rell can't.
right.
Yeah, because I think Magneto is specifically electromagnetic too. They do make a point of that. He can, at peak power, I feel like create black holes or some shit.
Really?
Like that. I don't play with it a whole lot.
Affect EM fields and shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I believe it.
And then finally, in the Brazilian dub, so Rell's got a line that says, "These sigils are a reminder. Screw my sigils."
Oh, she does say screw something. I thought that was Jack.
Getting PG
In the Brazilian
here.
dubs, The translation is, these symbols are a reminder, fuck my sigils, which makes her the first champion to have audible profanity.
Well, I mean, audible F word profanity, right? Because
Yeah,
like
I guess,
shit,
I
guess it's bleeped for Kled, right?
Yeah, he's got a bunch of bleeped profanity.
Okay, that's fair.
Non-audible.
Okay, I'll give.
Podcast
Okay.
sponsored by Audible.
Audible, hit us up.
Audible, hit us up.
Yeah,
that Rell?
those are all my fun facts.
Very good.
That's Rell.
That's real. Any final angry thoughts?
I said most of them.
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like we can't even really say like I'd like another short story to explore some of these concepts, because they really would like. I would love. I just want a lore rewrite. I feel like this character has so much cool things that they could do, but not the way that the bio's currently written. The bio needs a rewrite.
It might. I would like if I was going to pick a short story, I would like one that's quiet, not an action piece. And I would like one that was about her time at the academy and the escape, because I think that could really, that's where maybe you could start shoring up a lot of these problems that we kind of have with it. I mean, like you said, there's still big glaring issues that have extended beyond it, but that's like the thing I want the most to get into Rell's head. Like what it was like and what happened to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was Rell. Thank you for listening.
Rell. Sorry.
Well, Rell. We have a Twitter. It's at Loreheads. We also have a Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Loreheads. Sean streams on the weekends. Trying to do evenings now, playing TFT, and then we might like swap to ARAMs together after the baby goes to sleep. We have a YouTube as well. We post some short clips of like the video of these here. We've mentioned parody songs. John has those. We have a Discord as well. It's linked in the description of this episode and pinned on our Twitter if you ever want to chat. We also have a Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons: Big Man Gnomes, Chloe Things, King of Hearts, Sejuani's Baby Daddy, Shupa Moustache, and Techno Robert. Y'all are amazing and so generous, and if you were nulled, I'd find some way to give up my sigils to bring you back.
He would feed you.
I'm gonna say you
would
wouldn't feed him little carrots, applesauce.
I'd baby bird you.
Ew, no. No.
I'm not null. No, I think somebody's hungry.
And please, Bree. Please, Bree. Love Bree. Be sure to join us next week. I'm so excited. We're talking about Mommy, the Chem Baroness, Renata Glass.
Fire!